Hello and welcome to Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And this is our 50th, that's wrong still, 50th episode of Criterion Connection. It's 4th of July, well not right now, but when this video is up, it is 4th of July. Yes.
The U.S. Independence Day.
Yes. No, we're not
Not starring Will Smith.
Yeah. Not starring. Not starring Will Smith. That should be on Criterion Collection.
No, it shouldn't.
It should not.
Nope.
You're right.
Armageddon is better.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Anyway, so we decided let's do something American. And we're like, yeah, you know what? What is America? Baseball's America. It's American pastime. So let's do a movie that's coming out next week on Blu-ray and DVD.
That helped too with the timing.
Yes. So it's like, we were going to do it anyway. So I was like, let's just do it a week before.
Yeah.
You know, our videos usually do good when there's a new release or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're still loving stuff.
In case people, you know, they were like, hey, what is that? Or, you know, they almost forgot like what this movie is about. We're doing Bull Durham.
Yes, which we have a running joke because I accidentally said Bill Durham.
It'll take, last week.
And that's why you had to say it, because I've been joking saying, oh, Bill Durham. Bill Durham. I'm going to accidentally say Bill Durham.
Yep. So this has nothing to do with a guy named Bull or Durham?
Yeah.
Or Bill?
Or Bill. Or Bill Dunham.
Or Bill Dunham, or whatever.
Whatever joke you have.
Permutation you have for that. It's a baseball romantic comedy.
Yes.
From 1988, I believe.
Yes.
Was it written and directed by Ron Shelton?
Yes. This is his first movie, too.
It's the only one I remember by him. No offense. It's not a name that's stuck in my head because I saw this movie when I was a lot younger for the first time.
I have never seen this movie until last night.
Yeah.
I have never seen this movie. I like baseball movies. You know, I like them. You know, like Sandlot's a classic, of course. You know, you have League of Their Own, The Natural.
Yeah. Natural's really good.
Even little things like Naked Gun, I consider that a baseball movie because the last accent in baseball, with Enrico Palazzo and stuff.
This is among the classics.
Yes.
And it's actually, as far as I know, I think it's one of two classics with Kevin Costner as the star. Because Field of Dreams.
Oh yeah, Field of Dreams.
This is another excellent baseball movie.
I like sports movies. I like, I even like the stupid Replacements movie.
I love Replacements.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Filmed here. But it's a movie that is about a minor league baseball team, or more or less two players. One that you follow from the very beginning. It's played by Tim Robbins,
Eddie Nuke
of Shawshank fame and many other movies, Jacob's Ladder. And he plays a young hotshot pitcher who can throw the ball super hard, like 95, 96 miles an hour, but can't hit a target at all.
Yeah, or throw a curveball.
Or as Kevin Costner's character, Crash Davis, who enters later, he says you couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat.
Yeah. There was a lot of good one-liners in this.
So it revolves around Tim Robbins' character. I think his name's like Ebby or something.
Yeah, they call him Nuke.
But he wants to get a nickname, which is decided upon being Nuke, because he throws hard. Crash Davis, played by Kevin Costner.
He's at the end of his rope.
Yeah, who's a veteran, lifelong minor leaguer as it seems, but as to be revealed later in the movie, he has been to the big show, and all the players like kind of perk up and want to hear his stories about what it's like to be in the major leagues. And the third lead is Annie, played by Susan Sarandon.
Yeah.
And she plays a baseball nut who knows so much, and she's really smart, and she likes, poetry and classic music, because she listens to an opera song, I believe sung by Edith Piaf. I think it's that version.
And there's little subtle things like, she's like, I'm Christian, and there's a whole wall of like Buddhist stuff.
Yeah, she's like a really spiritual person, but doesn't follow like any particular religion. I think she talks about the Church of Baseball.
Yeah.
In the opening narration.
Yeah, and she's kind of like,
she picks a player every season and dates them or essentially tries to make them better via sex.
Yeah. Which I was like, when they first introduced this, I was like, oh no, this is going to be very dated, it's going to be very...
No, it's not.
Because we have Millie, and I
love Millie.
I feel, and
Millie's one of my favorite characters.
The thing about Millie is, there's a payoff,
Yeah.
There's a payoff to the joke, like, she's like kind of like the ditzy slutty one, she sleeps with all the players, but there's a payoff to that joke.
Yeah.
And so
it seems like, to me, like, Annie's, like, passing on...
And Annie, you think,
a lot of that info to her.
like, oh, but she, straight up, her, like, first lines of outside of narration is, you're a woman, you're powerful.
Yep.
To Millie. And then it's like, okay, we'll be okay.
Yeah, you weren't lured. You are a woman. You cannot be lured.
Yeah.
And I was like, nice.
You're powerful and strong. And I'm like, yes. And I was like, okay, that's the whole thing. I was like, especially the Me Too movement, it's like,
yeah.
But I feel like they played it off really well to where, if anything, she has the power of everyone else. She has the she gets into Crash's head. She gets into Luke's head.
Yeah, and there's times where Crash points out that she isn't as powerful as she thinks she is, but most times she is because she's dealing with airheads like Tim Robbins' character, who will do whatever she says, especially when it starts working, and you kind of, for part of this movie, you have like the two different perspectives giving Tim Robbins' character advice, because both of their goals are the same. She wants him to go to the big leagues, and Crash is hired to the baseball team to get that kid ready for the big leagues.
And that's more of
and he's more old school coach. Listen to me, like, don't think too hard.
Meat.
He calls him meat all the time until the end of their run together, and I think it's a great 80s and it has it's a movie around sports.
Oh, I love
it's
that.
not as much a sports movie as, say, like a Major League or The Natural. It more revolves around
Mr. 3000.
Yes, and it more revolves around how it deals with baseball. It shows it, but it's not like focused on the game. It's more of the relationship of the characters
They do a lot
and how they work together and how they achieve their goals.
They do a lot of things like A League of Their Own. I'm not gonna knock A League of Their Own, but
it's a great movie too.
Yeah, but like you have to follow 7 characters. You have to follow a majority of the team, right?
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of different subplots. Yeah.
This one, it's like, I mean, you've established a few players, and you had to have a little, my glove is cursed, or...
Yeah, you have the guy who believes in voodoo, who's Jose.
Yeah.
You have Jimmy, the Christian, church nut.
Yes, and they play their part, you know who they are, but they don't have subplots. I mean, Jimmy has a subplot.
You don't have a full-on, story
but
arc.
you get you get the coach as a hard ass. You get the assistant coach, Robert Wool.
Yeah, he's
great. Wait,
he's so great.
It's funny because Arliss.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but he's great, and he's just kind of like a silly kind of character. You have the kid that passes the notes.
Yeah. There's 2 kids. There's one in the bleachers, and then there's the bat boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's not forget Max in the beginning of the game where he's the guy, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not forget him.
He shows back up, by the way.
Yeah.
And on the road trip.
Let's not forget the bull. But yeah, everyone...
That poor guy.
But everyone, there's players, but there's not too much attention spotlight on them, but there's enough to where you get the jokes. Yeah. Especially when it all culminates to the mound. Mm-hmm. Where they're like,
later on,
we need to get a rooster, and then it's like, we're gonna get Millie for her wedding. It's stuff like that. That whole scene is great. And Robert Wool comes up, and is like, what's going on?
Is there a convention in town, guys?
And they tell him, it's like, well, candlesticks are really good. You gotta see what's on the registry, and it's a fun little thing. I also like this whole. I can't recall another baseball movie that's done it.
What?
Or they might have done it recently, after this movie, but. The inner monologues during the game, he's at bat and he's like, "Don't get in your head." Throw weak shit at me.
Where Kevin Costner talks to himself while he's batting,
and Nuke does it.
Nuke does it on the mound.
Yeah, and I like that dynamic.
Yeah,
I like that.
Great.
I like this kind of there's a science. He's teaching him don't throw the ball, like don't do a curveball, do all kinds of stuff. There's always knowledge. even when he gets punched in the eye at the bar, he's like, never punch with your pitcher hand.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool. Like Kevin Costner's great. I feel like if Susan Sarandon was not Annie Savoy, it would not work.
Yeah,
she's great.
She's the one the movie hinges on. You have all three main characters going through character arcs, growing as characters through the movie. Kevin Costner's great. He's super charming, and he's a bit wooden at first, but that's what his character calls for, is a grizzled veteran, a guy who's been around the block, who kind of knows his role and isn't happy about it, but he gets to play the game.
He doesn't want to say that, like, I have this record that I have to break.
That's something that comes up later, is he's about to set a record for most home runs hit in the minor leagues, and he doesn't want that distinction because to him that it feels like a failure.
Minor leagues is minor.
Yeah, and
but he proposes to figure out life is about baseball, but it's not all about it.
Yeah, and it's a great movie. It's a great character movie.
Yeah,
and it's real fun. It's not like one of those things that it's building up to the playoffs or the World Series like so many movies do. It's leading from these characters going to the next part of their lives, where Tim Robbins, Nuke, he makes it to the show and he starts actually listening to Crash and using that advice to try and push his career further. Crash moves on from baseball and decides, maybe I can become a manager and pass on all this experience I have. And Annie gives up doing what she does and wants to settle down and wants to just focus on teaching and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a really it's a really feel-good movie for one. Like, except for that one part in the third act where where Crash kind of hits a turning point. But it all turns out in the end, it's what the character needed instead of what he wanted.
And we also got to see Kevin Costner in just a small towel.
Yeah,
the smallest towel.
Yeah, Tim Robbins was also very much shown throughout the movie, skin wise.
Yeah. There's a lot of sex. There's a lot of sex in this movie. I also love this thing. I can really relate to Crash Day. I can really relate to him because when he goes and say I like softcore porn. I like this thing. I think AstroTurf should be banned. I like this. He's going through all this this whole spiel what he likes and what he doesn't like, and I'm like, this guy.
He's showing that he's more than just an airhead like Tim Robbins.
He's more than meat.
Because you have that dichotomy of him listing all those things, showing that he's a deeper person. He thinks about things. He's not just any ball player. And then you have Tim Robbins, and he's like, are we gonna fuck or what? like that's all he's thinking about, and it's a great contrast.
And she realizes that she doesn't want that because she's like, this guy's an airhead. This guy the guy kind of gets me. He doesn't believe what I believe, but but I do like the other line of she was like,
obviously it's a great written movie.
She was like, in my past life, I would have been someone famous. It's like, why does everyone think they're in their past life they're famous? And I'm just
that's like a Jerry Seinfeld joke.
I feel like she started laughing. I feel like that was not supposed to happen. I feel like it was such a good line that it worked.
Yeah.
Buy or skip?
I would say it's a buy. It's considered one of the best sports movies ever for a reason. It's a great. It's more than just any old sports movie. You actually delve into the characters and their goals, and what they want, what they need, and that's a great part of the story that a lot of people ignore. And it's not so heavy on the sports that'll alienate people that aren't fans of that sport, but it shows enough to be a sports movie, but it's more of just a romantic comedy drama film.
And what I like about it is...
And it's great writing, great performances.
It doesn't go it's romantic comedy sports film, but it does not go by the cliches of either genre. It doesn't follow the traditional.
Yeah, when it does... it kind of points it out in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of self-aware.
Like how Millie and Jimmy get engaged, and they only knew each other for 5 hours, really.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you just, it just felt right. We just knew.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, okay, well, at least, I mean, it's not super realistic, but it's an explanation, and it's the only time it happens in the movie.
Yeah. And also, it's also like, does she fall in love with him, or is he's like, let's get engaged so we can have sex?
Yeah.
You know, which one is it? But overall, like, I'd say bye.
And you don't have that part where, like, because Kevin Costner and Tim Robbins are kind of rivals for Annie, but you don't have the part where, like, say, Crash sleeps with Annie while she's dating Nuke. You don't have that part in it, or you don't have like where he kisses her and then like Nuke opens the door and sees it. It's more of a healthy kind of breakup.
Yeah.
And then a healthy kind of getting together.
Yeah.
In the end, so that was nice too.
Yeah,
you don't have that fallout.
That's what I was saying. There's no cliche moments.
Yeah.
Most of the romantic side of it, but there's no cliches with it. I'd say bye. Mm-hmm. I really, really, really enjoyed this movie a lot.
It's a great movie. I'm really happy it's getting a Criterion notoriety.
It's a movie that, like Sandlot, like a lot of baseball movies, they just feel timeless. Like this movie, you know, obviously was in the 80s, but it could be the 50s, the 60s. Well, the Cars would probably give it away. But even the Cars kind of looked a little old.
Yeah.
A little older.
They're all beat up because they're minor league baseball players. They can't afford... The only one that got a nice car was Nuke because he has a big contract and he bought a Porsche because he doesn't think ahead of it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But yeah, it feels timeless, and that's what makes a movie great, is when it doesn't feel dated. And this movie has great character work, great character development. The pacing is really good. It doesn't drag half the time. You probably could cut maybe 5 minutes, maybe, but that's not an issue. It wasn't a bother to me.
There's nothing that stands out as this doesn't need to.
If this movie came out today, it'd be like 2.5 hours, and there'd be so much drama. Maybe someone would be doing
CG
drugs
and all that.
We see the CG ball. Yeah, like it's just such a good.
Photoshop some abs on the Tim Robbins.
It does interesting things of sports movies that I haven't really seen since before that. So yeah, buy it. Yeah, I like it. It comes out next week on Blu-ray and DVD. So buy it.
And I'm really interested to see what kind of special features come with it.
Yes.
You know, you have commentaries, but I'm sure there's going to be some retrospectives and interviews and stuff like that. And
where Kevin Costner is just going to be a grump because he wanted Batman to be Superman. Fucking Clark.
I didn't want to go there, but we could have kept this positive.
Yeah. And Tim Robbins, he likes to know what he thinks, all stuff like that. Sadly, I think the coach died. I was reading on Wikipedia, doing a little research. The coach, the main coach, he died months later.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, an aneurysm.
Dang.
So yeah, it was wow.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. It was Wikipedia's here's all the stuff, reception and stuff and right at the bottom it says he died. One sentence. Jeez, man.
But he did a great job too because he's I don't know what to do with these guys.
He's the most quintessential coach.
And then Kevin Costner tells him he's got to scare the young players because they're kids.
And there's the bats.
And he throws the bats.
In the shower.
And he throws the bats. And he goes on this long speech. He's like, you lollygag out of the dugout. You lollygag coming off the field. You lollygag going to the plate. He's like, what does that make them?
Lollygaggers.
Lollygaggers. And it's just
I actually wrote that on my phone as a note. I forgot
to. It's the most nonsensical speech. and apparently it kind of worked.
Yeah, they're on the winning streak after that.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite parts. It's so funny.
Yeah. But let us know in the comment section below what you think of Bull Durham, not Bill Durham. Did you make the same mistake I did that one time? I did.
What other sports movies do you like? Because I watch a lot of them. I know you watched a bunch of them. We did Hoop Dreams a long time ago.
Is there any Criterion movies that are sports?
Yeah. Is there any more besides the Olympics?
Yeah.
But if even any other movies, we can always talk about whether Field of Dreams is better than Bull Durham or vice versa.
Yeah.
Things like that. We do enjoy that.
Yeah, we like to have conversations down below in the comment section. Also, to more subscriptions. More subscriptions. Bring more subscriptions over.
If you like the video and you like other ones, you can always subscribe. But if you have suggestions, you can comment them below.
And don't worry, we are looking at all of them. We say it every week. We are looking at all of them. We're already planning this month. Already, we still have a lot of open spots.
Yeah, we got some open spots coming.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have much else to say.
Oh man.
I
don't have anything either.
Yeah, it's a great baseball movie. Go buy it. Go watch it. Do it now. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And we will see you later, you bunch of lollygaggers.